Hey, I'm back once again on my beautiful Astralites. Astral projection is in full effect as I talk about something that has been on my mind for quite some time. I feel like this needs to get out there, and in case my brother's watching, don't worry. I'm gonna keep this as classy as I possibly can. Real parents versus parental friends. And you guys see where I'm going with this. So, I mentioned the kid from yesterday. That was an example of somebody raised by a parental friend. A parental friend is basically a parent, whether it be biological or adoptive, foster, whatever. And they're basically a guardian without boundaries. They basically let their kids do whatever they want. You know, if you see a kid that's ill mannered, or they basically tell you your life is nothing, what you're doing is worthless and not very, it's time consuming, things like that. That's an example of a child raised by a parental friend. A real parent, uh, let me give you an example real quick. So, I was waiting for the bus stop last night. I was still trying to cool off from what had happened earlier last night or earlier on in the day. And these two girls, very kind, very sweet, they asked me, "Oh, would you like to have a seat?" I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm fine, but thank you for asking." That was an example of somebody who was raised by a real parent. You have manners, you have values. You say please, you say thank you say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am, things like that. And honestly, that made me feel a lot better, knowing that there's still children raised by real parents. And those of you parental friends going, "Oh, you're trying to say I'm a bad parent?" Yeah. Because if you're gonna let your kids run amok without consequence, what else am I supposed to say or think? I mean, you're raising the type of kids that had forced me, or one of the reasons to force me to quit my job at the candy store, because they were trying to be slick, be like, "Hey, yo, can I have this for free?" Or, "Hey, I don't have this exact amount, but I have close enough to it." They are the reason I had such a sour attitude when I was working there, because that I had to deal with those kids all summer. Parents need to watch over their kids when they're going mall shopping, because otherwise they're just gonna get worse from there. They're gonna grow up to be those kids who are like, "Hey yo, baby, drop the zero, get with the hero." Okay, first of all, slow your roll, Vanilla Ice. And first of all, and secondly, you you guys are still in school, still learning. Although you probably skip half the classes, but anyway, this is not about. This is more about the raising tactics between a real parent and a parental friend. I was raised by real parents, as well as my other siblings. We grew up with old school values. We said, excuse me, or pardon me, if we wanted to walk through or if we had something to say. Um, we would say my condolences if we know somebody who lost a loved one, things like that. being a decent human being, and it appears we don't know how to act like that anymore. It's like we want to bring our toxicity around other people. I wanted to show last night that I'm not an easy target. And I took that the wrong way. And I ended up well, for those of you who saw it, I basically flipped my lid because I have no patience for children like that. I really don't. Kids need to learn more respect. They need to have better values. That's what I was trying to say last night. Minus the brutal tongue lashing. uh, it's hard for me not to ignore people because I know they're not going to stop unless I enable them. And I think that's problem number one, is we're enabling people because they act like they don't get any attention at home. And even if they don't, that doesn't mean they should go around harassing others to get their attention, because they're eventually going to get it from the wrong type of person. Parents need to step their game up. Parental friends need to be real parents. That's what I'm trying to say. You go to the mall, you can tell. Like, I remember one day at work it happened. Like, I think it was before I actually clocked in. Like, I noticed these three stooges, pretty much grade schoolers, walk in. One of them not even wearing a t-shirt. Well, he was, but it was around his neck. He was one of those. Yeah, you guys know who I'm talking about. The type of kid I'm talking about. But anyway, they asked for water cups, and I was like, I know where this is going. And one of my managers, who I'm cool with, she was on the clock, and she don't play games. She's all about business when she's on the clock. I mean, there's a time or two where she'll joke around with us and just shoot the breeze, but this wasn't one of those times. She saw them stealing soda from the machines with the water cups, and they were like, "That's not soda." And they were trying to be slick about it. And we deal with that nearly every other day, I'd say. And she was the same one who told us, okay, if they look under 17, ask for IDs before you sell them R-rated tickets. I'm just like, okay. So I've been doing that, and about once or twice, these three girls come up. They're just like, can we have tickets for Smile? I'm just like, I need to see ID because it's R-rated. They looked at me like they didn't understand the question. And they turn around to this adult, and I'm just like, are you guys together? And the guy's like, oh, no. And it's never ending. All right, it's like no matter where I work, kids with no boundaries, no manners, no respect for elders, they are gonna grow up. It's like, you notice it's more from it's more from the boys. Like, I rarely see any girls come in and just stir up trouble for us. Okay, well, I remember one time, it was I think after my first week back, I was at concessions, and Juliana can tell you this because I already told her. This girl comes up, places her order, and she goes, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" I'm just like, "Okay, what's the question?" She's like, "Do you need a sugar baby?" I'm just like, "Wow." I don't that's in my head. Like when I'm put on the spot, I get nervous and I chuckle a little bit. When in truth, I was like, I can't believe that what this girl just asked me. And she was basically jailbait. You know, she had to be at least 14 or 15 asking me this question. And I know she wasn't even joking. And her friend was like, "Oh my God, why would you ask him that?" And so her friend apologized on her behalf. I'm just like, this is going to be a long time at work. So, if you ever deal with that, just be on the lookout. But that's once in a blue moon, stuff like that would happen. But I'm saying, kids in general, they need real parents. They don't need parental friends. Don't be your kid's friend. All right? Don't be, especially if they're tykes, because I've seen this. Don't use profanity in front of them because they're just going to repeat it at school. Then you're going to get mad. And you can only get mad at yourself for saying it in the first place. And you're just like, oh, Astral, I already get mad when I do this and that. No, 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 no. You get mad at your kid when you do that. You know exactly what you're doing. So don't even try that with me. You have self-control. You are the parent. You are the guardian, whomever. You have self-control. You have the power to... You see what I'm saying? You have the power. You have the self-control. You can teach your kids to do better. You just choose not to. And then people like me have to deal with that at our job. Only because it's at our job. We can't... They take full advantage of that. I can't keep working in hostile work environments because you refuse to teach your kids better respect. Teach them how to do better. Stop saying, "Oh, I'm gonna whoop your ASS." Stop using profanity, especially around tykes. If they're like 3 or 4 years old. And I know some of you real parents know other parents who actually do that, and you're just like, could you not use foul language in front of the kids? And if they're not going to do that, don't associate yourself with them. I'm trying to teach my kid how it is in the world. You're only making things worse. That's not how it's supposed to be in the world. We're supposed to have children who are well-mannered, especially the boys, because I think the boys need the most help. A few videos back, I said young men need better leaders. I want to have a daughter someday. I want to be able to set a good example. I want to be a good role model. I want to be a real parent. Not just a father, a parent. Teach your kids right from wrong. Stop having them run amok by themselves. And here's the other thing, because I see this a lot. Before you go into public, with your demon spawn of a child, you need to actually step your game up and tell them, don't act up in the store. If I say we can't have any, you can't have anything, know that I'm doing what's best. How hard is that? If they refuse, don't take them to the store. Just run your rounds by yourself. Have somebody watch over him or her, whatever. Stop letting these kids do whatever they want, acting like it. That's the problem. You want to be your child's friend. You don't want to be their parent. Well, this was how I was taught growing up. You need to. I'm so fed up with saying you need to learn better from what you were taught. Teach your future generation to do better. Because we're not in 2020 anymore. It's no longer lockdown. You should have spent that time teaching your kids, spending time with them, letting them know, look, when you're out in public, you can't behave certain ways. You can't do certain things. You have to learn how to be a decent human being when you're out in public. You can't go into public settings and harass the people who are working there. Because they're going to grow up to be those types of people. Excuse me. They're going to grow up to be those types of people who just keep going to the same spot and complain that you keep messing their order up. And to that I say, go somewhere else. How hard is it? Because I'm so sick and tired of people going into public settings and they're just like, this happens every single time. You guys mess my order up, this, and this. Then why don't you go anywhere else? Because I'm fairly certain that after the first one or two mistakes, they actually get it right, and you just want to find something to rant about. But that's something else unrelated. Or maybe it's not. I don't think it's I think it's related, to be honest. Because that's where parental friends tactics of teaching children's lead. There's you are not there to be your child's friend. You are there to be their parent. You are there to protect them, keep them safe, make sure they are well educated, well fed, keep a roof over their head, make sure that all of their debts are paid for school, their clothes on their back. You see where I'm going with this? That's what makes you a real parent. It is what you do. You know right from wrong. That is the point of having a child. You are teaching them right from wrong. You are showing them what it takes to be a decent human being. Stop being their friend. Be their parent. Because I guarantee you, nothing good will come from being their friend. And I've seen this, like, after 9 or 10 o'clock at night, back when I was working at the candy shop. I would see all these young bucks in a group just walking about, and I'm just like, why aren't these kids at home just studying or listening to music or drawing, whatever? Why aren't they? Because you remember when you were growing up and your parents would be like, make sure you are home before the streetlights turn on. That's an example of a real parent. They made sure you were safe before any of the craziness happened. Parental friends We don't need any more of those. We need real parents. We need real guardians. Step your game up. Be a better role model for your child. That's all the time I got. Be safe, be well, be loved. Namaste. I love you guys. Talk soon.